3 weeks earlier, Lee visits Council Bluffs for a look around. She likes what she sees and decides to accept the post of food service director at Jenny Edmondson Hospital.
She had come here approximately a week before to start the new job. Her husband stayed behind in Michigan to tidy up some loose ends. They were working on transporting their mobile home from Michigan to Council Bluffs.
Lee begins her orientation training at Jenny Edmondson Hospital on Monday, June 21st. On Thursday, the 24th, she's invited by some of her new colleagues to spend a few hours boating on Lake Manawa in the southern part of the city. The group disperses at dusk. It's close to the longest day of the year, so sunset is relatively late in the evening.
On the way back to the motel, Lee stops at Manawa McDonald's and picks up food to take back to her room. As it turns out, the employees at the restaurant are probably the last ones to see her alive.
Council Bluffs Police Captain Eldon Jones, head of the Criminal Investigation Unit, states that Lee's body was found on the bed, face up and dressed in sleepwear. She was registered alone at the motel. Her car was in the motel's parking lot.
Lee died from a single knife wound to the heart, inflicted from the front, and may have been dead up to 12 hours before her body was discovered.
The county medical examiner says the murder could have been sexually motivated, but Captain Jones says there's no evidence to point to that, and a further autopsy will be needed.
In fact, the police were sitting on substantial evidence that supported the medical examiner's remark.
Her hands had been bound behind her back. Adhesive residue had been found on her eyes and mouth, indicating they had been taped. There was evidence she had been sexually assaulted.
The police have had good reason for not wanting to disclose the sexual assault, but it also could have just been the practice of the times. 40 years ago, things were not disclosed to the degree that they are today. Back then, there was a sense that keeping certain details out of the news would spare the family some anguish.
Although Lee's room had not been overturned, there were some items missing.
The officers at the time didn't know what was missing from the room, but after interviewing with Lee's husband, he reported that her wedding ring, engagement ring, there was a sapphire ring, her watch, including some credit cards, were all missing from the room. Was that the intention of the person that came into her room? Was it to rob her and steal her bag, or was it something else? And in looking over all of the evidence, to me, it appears more that the theft of the items were more of an afterthought or a smoke screen to maybe try to cover up what was really going on there.
On Tuesday, June 29th, the Michigan State Police in Grand Haven joined the investigation into Lee's death and began checking into her background.
Lee joined Service Master in 1980, and her first assignment was a hospital in Michigan. They would later place her at Jenny Edmondson Hospital in Council Bluffs.
At the age of 21, while still an undergraduate, Lee marries Anthony Rodatori on November 14th, 1970, in Olmsted, Minnesota. They have a son, Michael.
Throughout the 70s, Lee works in Wisconsin as a dietitian. She later gets her master's degree at the University of Wisconsin-Monomoy.
But the Rodatoris' marriage ends September 1977, when Lee and Anthony divorce in Rockford, Illinois. A little less than a year later, on August 15th, 1978, Lee marries Jerry Nemke in Madison, Wisconsin.
Jerry Stanley Nemke and Lee marry in 1978. They divorce the next year and then remarry in 1981. She keeps her maiden name Rodatori for professional reasons and for her son, who lives with his father in Chicago.
In October of 1980, when Lee is working at Hackley Hospital in nearby Muskegon, she and Jerry move into a mobile home in Crockery Estates, a mobile home park in Nunica.
It was a happy time for Lee. She owned a horse, which she stabled with friends nearby.
Lee had a dog there and owned a couple of pigs, some turkeys, and chickens, and also had a part of the garden at their farm.
In June of 1982, when Lee takes the job in Council Bluffs, the plan is for Jerry to pull up stakes in Nunica and move the mobile home 600 miles west to Iowa.
On Friday, July 1st, Lee's family holds a memorial for her in Rochester, Minnesota, where Lee's younger sister Ann was still living. On July 2nd, authorities announce a $2,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and indictment of the person or persons responsible for the murder of Lee Rotatori. By the 4th of July, it totals $3,000, but still hadn't led to a suspect or motive.
This could be very useful to an investigation. Making an appeal to the public by offering a reward opens the possibility that someone may come forward with information.
Generally, in a case like this, you always try to look at family first, friends and associates after that, and then you start looking for unknowns or outside your scope of friends group for potential suspects. Well, Lee came here from Michigan. She had only been here a week. She didn't have family here. She didn't have really friends here. She just had met a couple of coworkers that she had been spending a little bit of time with. So the suspect pool was, ginormous.
More than 2 weeks after the murder, police still have no motive, no witnesses, and no suspects.
My doctor told me I needed to start prioritizing my liver health.
Dose for Your Liver is a clinically backed supplement that supports healthy liver function.
My stomach feels a lot better.
He has more energy. He sees his grandkids more.
Start your liver health journey today at dosedaily.co.
We've all done the smell check.
Trust me, I'm good.
Claire V targets vaginal odor at the source. Claire V, long-term relief from vaginal odor, itching, and discharge. Try it at clairev.com.
Wow, is that really me? Oh my gosh. Wow. Who am I?
Oh my God. I can't believe I have no lines in my face.
I'm just in love with the mirror right now.
It's a facelift in a jar.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Greenhut, the CEO of Plexiderm. We've created the best offer yet with our Memorial Day Plexiderm 10-minute challenge. All it takes is 10 minutes to reduce the appearance of under-eye bags, wrinkles, and crow's feet. People across the country look and feel years younger in minutes.
Here, I don't look 61 in 3 weeks, and this is only because of Plexiderm.
Holy like I look 15 years younger. The instant results are from naturally based silicates. Once applied, your skin tightens and firms, rapidly reducing the appearance of under-eye bags and wrinkles in minutes. So if under-eye bags and wrinkles make you look tired and older, try it this Memorial Day for only $14.95, plus get free shipping.
We're excited to do business with you, but before we sign, I gotta ask.
Sure, anything.
We searched you online and maybe you can explain this?
Can't believe that garbage is still coming in. That is so false.
Frustrated with your online search results? Call Reputation Defender today to join tens of thousands who've improved their online reputation. Get your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 1-877-866-8555.
Think you know Weight Watchers? Allow us to reintroduce ourselves. Science has evolved, and so have we. New weight care solutions, tailored support for the whole you. Weight Watchers, the care you deserve from the brand you trust.
Meet Omnilux Contour, an LED light therapy mask clinically proven to reduce fine lines and wrinkles. Find out how you can improve your skin at omniluxled.com.
The windows come down, the shoes go off, sleeves go up. The coast is there with open arms. Leave it all behind and settle in. Get 'em along.
to stretch the dollar? With Insurify, you can cut your car insurance bill in half. Scroll through dozens of prices and tap to switch online. That's it. No phone calls and no wasted time. Go to Insurify and save today.
This is not a dryer sheet. Earth Freeze is a new type of laundry detergent that looks like this. It's also so easy to use. Dissolves quickly in any wash. And my personal favorite, no plastic jug. Learn more at earthfreeze.com.
Dogs are expensive.
My number one pet parent hack, Spot Pet Insurance.
Spot made it so painless and easy for me. They reimbursed me $2,700.
I'm here to tell you, consider getting pet insurance.
Introducing the Emergency Fire Blanket from Prepared Hero. The Emergency Fire Blanket is a lightweight, portable, easy-to-use tool to put out fires safely and effectively. There's less mess than there is with a fire extinguisher. It can withstand temperatures of over 1,000 degrees, and it can put out several different types of fires. Pull it out of the pouch and toss it on a fire. It's better to have it and not need it than it is to need it and not have it. Get your peace of mind today with the Emergency Fire Blanket by Prepared Hero.
Shortly after arriving in Council Bluffs, Iowa, to start a new job, 32-year-old Lee Rotatori is discovered dead in her motel room. Detectives find no weapon at the scene. The room is orderly, with no sign of a struggle, no evidence of a forced entry, and with no evidence of a robbery. The police are perplexed.
Lee was not a victim of circumstance. I mean, this wasn't just something that happened, a robbery gone bad, and that she was killed because of that. To me, the evidence more points to this was planned, not only planned but well planned. So it's not like somebody came in and broke the door down and forced his way into the room. Lee was tied up. Her arms were bound behind her back. Her mouth was taped and her eyes were taped. She was sexually assaulted and then murdered. It was a well-placed one stab wound directly to the heart through 2 chambers of her heart. The subject then took the time to remove the ligatures around her wrist, remove the tape from her mouth, remove the tape from her eyes, collect the knife. He took all the evidence with him. The suspect came with everything he needed to commit the crime of murder, and he left with everything that he used to commit the crime of murder.
During the post-mortem, a sexual assault kit was done. The use of DNA in criminal cases was brand new at the time. Police realized they were in possession of critical evidence, but the technology around analyzing it just wasn't there yet.
That was the key to everything. I mean, without the DNA that was collected at that time during the autopsy, this case would still be cold today.
A little less than 3 months before Lee's death, there had been another fatal stabbing of a young woman in Council Bluffs. In the early hours on the morning of April 9th, 21-year-old Linda Mayfield was stabbed to death in the parking lot of the Starlight Motel at 3320 West Broadway.
The area attracts people from across the river after the bars in Omaha closed for the night.
Linda Mayfield suffered several stab wounds to her face, chest, stomach, hand, and foot. She died shortly after an ambulance took her to Mercy Hospital.
By the end of the year, Linda Mayfield and Lee Rotatori's homicides are still unsolved. 2 of 3 unsolved murders in Council Bluffs in 1982. A place where police prided themselves on clearing their crimes.
Council Bluffs Police Chief Eldon Jones is still hopeful 8 months after Mayfield's murder that police will catch her killer. He's not as optimistic about the Rotatori case. Katie Petit is the crime lab manager and property manager for the Council Bluffs Police Department.
We service the community in Council Bluffs, and sometimes we do assist surrounding agencies. We work anything from small crimes like burglaries, criminal mischief, property damage accidents, all the way up to obviously cases like homicides, cold cases, crimes against person, things like that. To my knowledge, we have all of the evidence that was collected back then. We have a lot of her clothing and things like that. She'd been staying in the hotel for a little while, so we have all of that stuff too. We did have some fingerprints that were lifted from the scene. As much as we talk about advancements in technology, law enforcement has always been, an innovative field. And while a lot of things have changed, I think a lot of things have been similar and stayed the same. But those guys did a great job in their processing and their documentation of the scene, evidence collection.
On the floor, there is green foam, the kind that a florist would use.
Kind of like when you walked it, almost in the walkway, the entryway to the room, like hundreds of little bitty pieces that look like the foam that you stick flowers in, when you receive a flower delivery. So that's definitely interesting. I've never been to a scene where I found floral foam. Just an odd piece of evidence for sure.
The green foam was also found in the upstairs hallway.
Almost every case we work, we have, video surveillance of some sort. But I mean, in the 80s, that wasn't a key piece of evidence. But now, for sure, we would have shown this guy walking down the hallway and walking into a room or dropping floral foam or gotten a license plate off of a vehicle in the parking lot. And that technology just wasn't available back then. So, maybe back then, if we had had that, they would have caught him right away. But that just didn't happen. So
the Rotatori murder case was growing colder by the day. 4 months after Lee Rotatori is murdered in a Council Bluffs motel room, the decomposing body of a man is found in an isolated wooded area 550 miles away. But it will be 4 decades till investigators are able to uncover the connection between them.
At Consumer Cellular, we pride ourselves on getting you the exact same nationwide coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. But don't worry, we've got a lot more than that going for us. Woo! Like this beautiful store in Arizona, for example. It's the perfect place for me to tell you a little bit more about our phones and how they can become your phones. You name it, we probably got it. We have the top smartphones from all the major companies. If it's state-of-the-art cameras you want with space-age metal housing, we got them. If you want a smartphone with lots of bells and whistles but won't break the bank, we've got that too. We even have flip phones like the Iris Flip. If you're someone that doesn't need all that mumbo-jumbo and just wants something simple. And now, we even have watches.
we do.
No matter what device you choose, you'll be happy to know that if your data needs change,
No problem.
with our SmartFlex feature, you don't have to sweat it. Like say you're on a road trip out west and end up using a bunch of data. We can simply flex you up to the next data tier for as little as $5. Then, when you get home, you can flex right back down with no penalty. So you only pay for what you actually need.
With Consumer Cellular, you get the exact same nationwide coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost.
I know what you're thinking. What if I don't have one of these amazing stores in my town yet? Can I get these phones sent to me?
Yes, you can.
Will our award-winning customer service help me switch over or add a line for $15 to make my own family plan?
Of course they will.
Is it easy?
Easy as pie.
You see that tower out there? It's a beauty. And there are thousands more like it, working hard for me and you, supplying 5G coverage to this beautiful nation of ours. We know how important coverage is. That's why we offer a risk-free guarantee. If you're not satisfied within 30 days of activation, you can pay nothing. Oh, look.
And for a limited time, new customers get their second month free. Call 800-311-5340. Find us in Target or visit consumercellular.com to switch today.
She knows what she's talking about. Pick up the phone.
Hey.
Hey, I'm inside the bank.
What?
I don't have much time. Where's the $500?
I said drop your bank and get Dave. The banking app.
What?
There's an easier way.
Oh, she's going to jail.
You can get up to $500 in 5 minutes or less when you download Dave.
Welcome to this year's cheese rolling competition. Who will catch the cheese and win the $500 prize?
Looks like we got a first timer coming down the hill now.
A barrel rolling down the hill.
That's gonna be fun. Yeah, it is.
There's an easier way. You can get up to $500 in 5 minutes or less when you download Dave.
I was never able to find a bra that fit my small chest. Every bra gave me gaps, so I designed a bra that finally fits AA to B cups perfectly. No more cup gaps or looking 2 sizes bigger. Meet Pepper, the bras that actually fit small boobs.
I was always skeptical of credit cards, but I also know it's the best way to build your credit. As an entrepreneur, that's essential. So I got the Chime Credit Builder card. There's no annual fee, no interest, and no credit check. My score has gone up over 100 points. Check it out at chime.com.
To prove that there is such a thing as free money, we gave people a little sample of Ibotta.
Hi, could I interest you in a sample from Ibotta?
What's going on?
It's just money.
Ibotta is an app that gives you cash back every time you shop. What is that?
It's money.
If I could just take this is real.
This is insane.
What's the catch?
There's no catch. It's just cash.
Get cash back every time you shop with Ibotta.
You're probably wondering who we are. I'm Patrick, and that's Chase, and this is our next giveaway.
We're giving away this 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath in the heart of the Ozark National Forest. You can win this cabinet or $1 million cash.
Go to onecountry.com today. Sign up.
Today, sign up.
Or sign up.
Sign up today or tomorrow. No, you want to sign up right now.
They're thinking about their next adventure. You're thinking about their next vet visit. An ASPCA pet health insurance plan helps you afford the care they need. So while they're out living their best life, you can help make sure it's a long one.
Drive Time has a big announcement. An even easier way to buy a car. You make the deal yourself.
I made the deal myself.
It lets you customize the real down payment and monthly payment of the car you want to buy.
It's the Drive Time Real Deal Maker.
Get the real deal at drivetime.com.
Spend less time making cocktails and more time making memories. Introducing Bartesian. Premium cocktails at the touch of a button. Shop for Dad and get $50 off at bartesian.com/dad.
So it's about the difference.
Oh, it's so much more. In June's Journey, you need to be able to spot things out of the ordinary to discover important clues. Sounds good, right? Oh, where's my tablet? June's Journey. Download now for free.
Coming up next on True Crime Network.
On June 25th, 1982, 32-year-old Lee Rotatari is stabbed to death in a motel room in Council Bluffs, Iowa. Police have no suspects, no witnesses, no motive in the murder of the young nutritionalist who had arrived from Michigan a week earlier to take up a new post at Jenny Edmondson Hospital. The motel's proximity to two busy interstate highways presented a problem for investigators, since the killer could have long been gone by the time police arrived at the scene. Lee's husband remained at their home in Unica while she got her feet on the ground in Council Bluffs. Lee had married Jerry Nemke in 1978. They divorced the following year and then remarried at the end of 1981.
But Jerry Nemke had a past. In May 1960, when he was 17 years old, Nemke was picked up in Chicago by police for questioning in the slaying of 3 Chicago area women and the fatal beating of a young Chicago waitress by the name of Marilyn Duncan on April 29th.
He was a fugitive from a youth camp and was driving a stolen car when he met Duncan and reportedly went out on a date that night.
Nemke was accused of bludgeoning her before leaving her bleeding and unconscious behind a Chicago factory. She died 2 days later. Could he be responsible for Lee's death?
And she was raped and then beaten to death, which, heightens your sense of, oh my God, what are the odds of that, to begin with.
But Lee's husband was a long way away on the night of her murder.
He was a 10-hour drive away. In reading through the reports, his alibi was like rock solid.
Nemke had been sentenced to death for the murder of Marilyn Duncan. But less than 2 years later, in January 1962, the Illinois Supreme Court overturned the conviction on the grounds the preliminary hearing had not been properly conducted.
There's a second trial. He's found guilty again and sentenced to 75 years in prison. But then he's released in 1978, and he attends Southern Illinois University in Carbondale.
Nemke's violent past remains a flag for Steve Andrews. 4 months after Lee Rotatori's death, another grisly murder is in the news. On October 30th, human remains are found in a shallow grave in an isolated wooded area outside Cobden, Illinois. It takes 2 weeks to identify the body. Thomas Freeman had been shot 4 times in the chest sometime during July or August.
4 months outdoors in the summer heat would make the victim's body in an advanced state of decomposition, making identification difficult. Dental records are typically the place to start if there is no identification found with the remains.
35-year-old Freeman was from West Frankfort in southern Illinois. He was believed to be a transient, living in different locations. As with Lee's case, police are stymied as to the motive for his murder and have no suspects. It's now 2001. Investigators decide to resubmit DNA taken into evidence from Lee's postmortem to the State of Iowa Division of Criminal Investigation Lab for forensic analysis. But when the DNA profile was entered into state and federal databases, no matches were returned. It would be periodically rechecked through the years 2001 through 2011, but without any results. In 2011, Detective Steve Andrews is assigned to Lee's case.
My sergeant came to me one day and plopped these case files on my desk and said, "Hey, you're kind of a go-getter. Why don't you look into this and see what you can do? There's been some advances in DNA, and I know there's some DNA involved in this case. Why don't you see what you can do with this?" It's overwhelming, quite frankly, when you first get this pile of paperwork and boxes and reports basically dumped on you. I just started reading. I started at the front of the case file, and I started reading all the cases, started reading all the reports. I started reading about what all the other previous detectives have done in the case, just to get familiar with the time and the facts and the dates and the names and all the effort that went into the case back then.
In 2018, Council Bluffs crime lab manager Katie Petit joins Steve Andrews on the Rotatory case.
DNA's come a long, long ways in the last, even 5 years, but especially in the last, 40 years. We knew that we had a male DNA profile from the sexual assault kit. That profile still had not been identified, despite the fact that it had been entered into the state criminal justice system, with, which would search against convicted offenders. So we wanted to research and try another route if we could try to identify this unknown male.
The same year Katie joins the team, Council Bluffs Police Captain Todd Wedham sees a television program about the Golden State Killer.
Joseph DeAngelo Jr. committed a string of murders and other crimes in California between 1973 and 1986 and was eventually brought down with the aid of forensic genealogy.
We started talking about it, and he's like, "Hey, if they can do that, we can do it, right?" I'm like, "Absolutely, this is a perfect case for that."
In April of 2019, Katie sends a DNA sample to Parabon Nanolabs, a company based in Reston, Virginia, that works with law enforcement on DNA forensics and on technologies for the medical industry.
When the captain released the funding to send our sample in to get started on this, again, that jump-started the whole investigation. And literally, that's when this investigation took off.
Parabon concludes Lee's killer is a male of Northern European descent. In other words, a very large pool.
The lab compares that profile against DNA that has been submitted to family tree companies like Ancestry.com and 23andMe, in which the clients allow law enforcement to review their DNA profiles.
And then they get a match, but it's with a 6th to an 8th cousin, which leads Parabon to tell investigators their chances of finding a suspect are slim to none.
I was like, okay, so we have a chance. Not a good chance. We have a slim chance, but at least we have a chance.
Parabon reassures the investigators that people submit new kits every day. It's possible one just might eventually come in that will move things forward. For Council Bluffs investigators, it becomes a waiting game.
There wasn't a lot we could do there for a while. It was just waiting for that right person to submit their known DNA profile. We contacted several people that we wanted them to submit because we thought that maybe they would be somehow related or involved. A lot of it was just a waiting game, which is also difficult. You know, you put all this time into it, and you're hoping that when you submit it, you know, a week later you'll get a phone call like, hey, we know who it is. But that wasn't the case. It definitely took months, you know, to get to the point where we actually were able to figure out who it was.
Then, in March 2020, Police Captain Todd Wenham opens the email that will change everything. It's from a 20-year-old college student in Pennsylvania who has an interest in genealogy. Could he be key to help solve this cold case and bring justice to the murder of Lee Rotatori?
As you get older, your liver health becomes an increasingly important part of the aging process. We've created Dose for Your Liver to make taking care of your liver easy. Dose is an organic blend of liver-supporting ingredients and is clinically backed to promote healthy liver function so that nothing's holding you back.
Spot Pet insurance plans help pet parents focus on the moments that matter and worry less about unexpected vet bills. From puppyhood and beyond, Spot can cover up to 90% of eligible vet visits. Visit spotpet.com to get a free quote.
This is Litter Robot, the highest-rated self-cleaning litter box that removes the chore of scooping. After your cat exits, Litter Robot automatically cycles, separating the clean litter from the dirty clumps. Never scoop again with Litter Robot.
Calm. Download the free app now.
The windows come down. The shoes go off. Sleeves go up. The coast is there with open arms. Leave it all behind and settle in. Get them aloft.
Meet EarthBreeze, a revolutionary laundry detergent that magically dissolves in any wash. There's no wasteful plastic jug, and it's water-free because you already have water. Just throw a pre-measured sheet into any washing machine, watch it dissolve in hot or cold water, and your laundry comes out fresh and clean every time. Join the millions of Americans who switched to EarthBreeze and stopped buying wasteful plastic jugs that just end up in a landfill. The future of laundry detergent is here. Learn more at earthbreeze.com.
My friends call me Zam. I naturally hold a lot of stress in my digestive system, as a lot of women do. When I travel, I get constipated, I get really poop shy. When I started taking DSO1, I immediately noticed how much lighter I felt, vibrant, alive. It really helps me stay regular, and you're not bloated at all. I honestly recommend DSO1 to everyone.
A Talkspace therapist will be in your corner for whatever comes up and be a place for you to vent day or night when you need to. Talkspace is covered by most insurance plans and may be no cost to you. Go to Talkspace.com to get started.
What happens when a fire breaks out in your home? Do you use a fire extinguisher and blast dry chemical powder all over your kitchen? This is the emergency fire blanket by Prepared Hero. Just pull it out of its pouch and toss it on a fire. It's that easy. Use the emergency fire blanket from Prepared Hero.
Meet Omnilux Contour, an LED light therapy mask clinically proven to reduce fine lines and wrinkles. Find out how you can improve your skin at omniluxled.com.
From the crime scene,
it was just bizarre,
to the investigation,
everybody is a suspect.
Uncover the mysteries and reveal the final hours before the crime. The Last 24, next on True Crime Network.
Council Bluffs police turned to a new company in 2019, hoping the latest in DNA forensic techniques might help them identify Lee Rotatori's killer.